very proud of our guys. We beat a really good basketball team, a team that's been challenged already in the preseason. We've already played Purdue, Houston, and Michigan, and so we knew going into this game it was going to be tough. And we were going to have to compete for 40 minutes, and I'm just really proud of our guys for making the plays they had to make down the stretch of the basketball game, considering we had a 15-point lead, and then they kept fighting like we knew they would, and made it pretty much a tie ball game. And our guys made the plays they had to make at the end of that to win, and I'm happy for them.
I mean, I'm sure when you have a double-digit lead, you don't want to give that up. But knowing that you won the game, are there positives to be in situations like that? Because conference games may be like this.
Absolutely. That's what we expect in conference. That's why we're playing the teams we're playing. There's not a team that's really on our schedule that we didn't feel would give us a challenge in some kind of way, whether it's a smaller team, small ball, whether it's big teams, whether it's on orthodox defenses like this team plays right here. We wanted to challenge ourselves, and true road game, neutral site game. You look at our schedule. We have games across the board, but I think they all can help us. Tonight was a huge help for us because we're going against a great coach, great system, and our guys are going to need to make plays to win. And I thought they did. I was very proud of them because you have a 15-point lead under 12 minutes to go in the game, and all of a sudden it evaporates. That can be a challenge. And we were on the other end of that just a few nights ago on the road ourselves, and we were able to come back and win. And so I thought our guys did a really good job when it got down to a tie ball game of making the plays they needed to make defensively and offensively.
Coach, you kind of touched up on the 15-point lead. Oakland went on a 15-3 run midway through the second half. I mean, what are the steps that you give the team and the messages that you give to stay in there and survive that run? And how do you look to avoid those for the future?
Well, we have to make sure it's going to be done on the defensive end. Period. I mean, you're going to have to get stops. I mean, when people are making runs, the only way you can stop them is to defend them and make them miss. And I thought we did it in timely, moments at the very end of the game. And that's when it's going to count the most. Our guys were at their best. And guys stepped up, made big free throws. Guys stepped up, made big stops. And that's what you have to do. And I'm really proud of them, like I said, for that effort.
In between the Texas A&M win and then this one against Oakland, just two down-to-the-wire gritty wins. What does that do for the confidence of the team?
Well, it's going to help us grow. I mean, having our guys be in these situations this early, we expect every conference game to be similar. I think it's great preparation for that. And playing against different systems, like I said, different styles, is also going to help us because different teams that we're playing league, they'll have different styles. And so I want our guys to face different challenges, and I want us to understand how we can be successful. And I thought they did a good job of that today.
Coach, Oakland is a scrappy team. They're well coached. They got into some of their sets. How is it to be able to play an out-of-conference team early in the year, just to kind of work on defense and different things that you want to see your club improve on?
Well, it's hugely important to face teams, like I said, that play unique systems, that are well coached, that they execute extremely well. I think it's good for our guys to see that and compete against it. One, because they're things that we want to clean up and get better at. Now you got examples of it from another team. Two, I mean, they have very talented players. So, going into the game, I had scouted a number of their guys, and I'm looking at them, I'm going, these guys are very impressive. So we're going to need to make sure that we, have a healthy respect for what they can do out there on the floor. And I think our guys have that respect for them because of what they were able to see them do.
Coach, JaMychal Stillwell tonight with that double-double. I mean, how important was he for this win?
He was huge. He was relentless. He talking about 14 rebounds, 6 offensive. He was just relentless, and that's what we needed from him. And he and Themis both. I mean, I thought played really well. Oakland knocked them out of a conference tournament last year, so for them to get this win is really meaningful because they didn't get a chance to close out last year by making it to the NCAA. Oakland knocked them out, so it was a great win for us. But also, I'm really happy for those guys to have an opportunity to kind of get a win against them.
Picked up a couple technical fouls late in the first half there. Just what were you hearing there, and what can the guys learn from that situation going forward?
We have to control our emotions. We can't get lost in those things in the game. Get lost in the game. Don't get lost in all the antics around the game. And I think, we had a couple guys that got lost in some of the antics around the game, things that are happening that have nothing to do with us, defending or rebounding or making a shot. And those are things you need to get lost into. And so we're going to continue to work on that. We can't be picking up technical fouls like that. Those are personal fouls, they're technicals. And that doesn't represent, who we are as a program. And so that's not who we are. And so have them guys understand that what I want is I just want to play hard, play with class. And so that's what I'm looking forward to those guys doing, because they're all capable of doing those things and they're terrific players.
Johnny, JaMychal's been a double-doubles machine, during his time at Milwaukee. When you see what he did tonight, is that kind of what you'd like to see out of him for the rest of the season, is to kind of develop into that kind of player?
No, absolutely. I know every night's not going to be the same. I mean, this game is very, very competitive, and matchups, like I always say, styles makes fights. And so this system right here I thought was really good, and he was able to take advantage of some things he does very well. Some other nights he may not get 14 rebounds and 20 points, but he didn't do those things against Texas A&M. But he still helped us win that game as well, but he didn't have the same numbers. So I just want him to go out there and stay relentless, get lost in the fight of what we're doing out there on the court, which he does. And the numbers will just come based on who we're facing. But he always plays, he always has a winner spirit. And that's what I want to see him do every night. Just bring the winning spirit. Your numbers will vary, but just keep on leading and keep on, being all about winning.
Coach, you talked about Oakland's length of the head coach's length of tenure there at the school. Where did you see his experience and leadership show most in the game?
I just thought he did a really good job of coming out of timeouts with what they executed. I thought he did a good job. Came out of timeouts, switching up some of his defenses, which were really good, timely situations where we needed to score or we needed to stop. They come out with specials that he had to try to get a basket. So no, I thought he did a good job. Trying to exploit situations on the court. Just watching him on the sideline. But that's what experience does for you. He's very experienced. He's been in these situations a million times. And I thought he did a good job.
We've seen through these early games how important shooting is to this team's offensive identity, but how critical was it to be able to see and feel a game where you don't shoot the ball particularly well and still find a way to get a win?
I'm not happy about the fact we didn't shoot it well the way we think we're capable of, but I am, excited that we were able still to find a way to win that, making shots the way we have, most of this, early part of the season. Because that's the reality of it, man. You're not going to shoot the ball great every night. None of us can. No team can. You have to understand what do you have to do to be successful when it's not going in for you. And so we'll have a lot of tape to be able to show our guys and watch things where we can talk about situations now where it wasn't shooting that got us the win. It was our ability to defend, get key stops, rebounds. And so those are things that we can build off of.
Kind of on the point, do you feel, maybe we're still making too much of the newness of this team, but do you feel as you guys get more games under your belt that this team is embracing the defense that you envisioned for them?
No, absolutely. I think they're embracing it. It's just a process of getting better at it. I thought tonight, this team did a really good job. They shot a good percentage from the field, from 2 and 3. And I thought we were kind of trending in the right direction after the last few games. And now we have to get better. We have to keep on moving forward. But the only way you can do that is to be in games like this, learn from them, and keep pushing their buttons to help us become a better defensive team.
What does it say about your depth when you just kind of look around, like the A&M game? It was Burks and Pachenko. Of course, Riley Kluger's been there all season. Tonight it's JaMychal with the big game offensively. You talked about this as one of the deepest teams you've had, and it's showing up through the first part of the season.
No, definitely, and that's what we want to be. We want to be a team that on any given night, any of these guys can step up and have their moment. And I want all our guys believing in themselves and their ability to do that because they can. The worst thing can happen for us is you have a night where some guys you're counting on not producing, to their level, and no one else is ready to step up in those roles. I think this season we've had guys showing their willingness to step up when some guys may not have it going in a half or have it going in a certain game. And I want our guys to know that we believe in them so they can continue to do that, and not lose confidence because you may not be playing 30 minutes tonight. You may have only played 5 minutes tonight. That doesn't mean you may not play 25 or 30 another night. Just be ready for your opportunity to help, and we'll control the minutes. You just be ready for your opportunities.
Coach, back-to-back wins now. What do you hope the team takes into a neutral site at Daytona and build on these wins?
Well, we have to be ready. I haven't seen Pitt play, but I know they're a talented team as well. We just need to take from these games that we've played that it's going 1-0. We're not worried about any game in the past. These games are over. We'll take the lessons we've learned from the games that we've competed against and try to get better the next time we go out in the court. We know we're going to face another tough test, well-coached team again, and we need to make sure our guys understand about getting their rest, and also just, mindset has to be, our mindset needs to be one in which we're focused solely on Pitt and not anything else that's around us. Just focus on what's in front of us and prepare for them.
I kind of want to follow up. You've got a win on the road, have some wins at home. Now, what kind of challenge does a neutral site bring? What do you hope the team benefits from?
I just hope we benefit. I just hope we benefit from now not having a home crowd, not having maybe a complete away crowd. You know, we know it won't be probably, you know, like it is here, of course. But I think our guys will benefit from just going to another arena, not at home, and competing against a team that's going to be very good. Because, you know, you go to your conference tournament, that's going to be a neutral site. It's going to be a neutral site. So all these things are giving us, you know, like a rehearsal for at the end of the season, you know, these games and these situations. And so that's kind of how we're going to look at it.
Coach, you had Vandy get you from the three-point line there. You had Brett White get quite a few three-pointers off, and Brody ended up, Robinson there ended up making a few as well. Just what do you think this team needs to do in order to kind of, you know, to defend the three?
Have a better awareness on those guys that we talk about, you know, in the scout and that we show on film. Having a better awareness of how they get open, what they're looking to do to get those shots off, and that's where we have to grow. And we will. I mean, some of these guys have never been in some of these positions before, and you guard in a different way. Maybe you played at another college. All these guys have transferred in, so they have different rules, different terminologies for what they're doing from what we do, and so their habits are still forming. You know, the habit sometimes takes years, and you have these kids now for 9 months. So you're trying to, you know, keep it as simple as possible while having an understanding of, okay, who are the awareness guys that you really need to make sure you have an eye on, and try to slow them down. And we have to continue to get better in that area.
Last question.
Speaking of growth, I remember last time we talked, you mentioned John Bull was a puppy, not a dog yet, but a puppy. But these last 2 games, he's really stepped up offensively, but he's gotten a bit of foul trouble. Just what have you seen from him over these past 2 games?
He's growing. You know, he's getting better and better. You know, like you said, that's, you know, with experience, you know, we expect him to improve because he just needs to be out there and gain experience. And sometimes it's tough because, you know, these guys they're playing against are juniors, seniors. A lot of them been playing a lot of minutes and starting, you know, a large part of their career. And here you go, your first time really getting extended minutes on the court. So they're ahead of you just with that experience. And so now for him, he needs to continue to go out there and just compete and play as hard as he can and learn from each one of these games, you know, offensively and defensively, learn what he can do and how he can be successful.